Guys, I'm very, very excited and privileged to be here today with you guys. We're going to be talking about VO, about voice acting and its role in Halo. I want to do some quick introductions, but I want to do an embarrassing, awkward thing and have you guys introduce yourselves in character as your character. And I think we're going to start with EK, who arguably has the sexiest voice.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. I mean, sorry.
My shirt moved when you talked.
Introduce give us your name, but then introduce yourself as your character.
Sure. My name is E.K. Mahdi, and I'm Spartan Jameson Locke.
Ooh, that's going to be hard.
Can he introduce me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Hi. Hey, I'm Darren O'Hare, Thomas Lasky.
I'm Steve Downs, Spartan 117, Master Chief. And as a matter of fact, I do need a weapon.
Wow.
No, I really do.
Well, Chicago, it's a rough time.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Hi, I'm Laura Bailey, and I play Spartan Olympia Vale.
say something in Sangheili. Oh, good.
I know that expression.
That's their word. That's their word for meh.
I'm Travis Willingham, and I play Fred 104, Blue Team Leader.
Oh, yeah.
Damn straight.
So we're really here to just have a conversation about VO. It's kind of a superpower that you have all these voices and that you have particularly charismatic and exciting voices to begin with. Do you guys ever abuse it, like when customer service calls and stuff like that? Like, I always think James Earl Jones might like totally abuse it all the time when he calls Comcast to say his cable's out.
I mean, I know when I'm like calling down from a hotel room or something and I need something, I always put on like a lower voice. For some reason, I feel like that's going to get more of a response.
More
But
of a
if-
club sandwich.
Yeah, a better club sandwich.
Yeah, I think so. I think
You know?
you're right.
But if,
Telemarketers.
all right, if
is
telemarketers
the
call,
jam.
then I definitely, I answer as a little girl.
Like a
almost
tiny
every
little
time.
girl.
Can you creep us out a little by...
Hello?
Oh, hi, little girl. Are your parents home?
I don't know where my parents are.
You don't know where they are?
No, they said they'd be back, but then they haven't come home, and I don't know where.
And then you just kind of fumble with the phone a little bit like a kid.
Knock
would,
it on
and
this.
shoot.
Oh, that got way darker than I thought.
Wow, I just overpower people. I didn't think of all that. I just get angry, like with telemarketers. It's like, who are you calling? Are you sure you want to talk to him? He's not here.
Yeah, that would be tough. I think they have a rule where they can't hang up on
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah.
You have to be the one to hang up first.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes talk like this. What are you offering, man? What are we talking about here? Can we negotiate some price?
Darren, do you have any? I mean, Thomas Lasky's too new for you to pull that one.
Right.
on
No, but I think you
random.
guys answer the phone way too much. Like, you got to screen your call.
That's true.
There's that.
That's only if you want to screw with somebody.
Osiris, form up. Everyone ready?
I want to take a step back. Obviously, Steve has been working on the franchise since its inception, and you probably recorded in 2000, but appeared in 2001, right? But EK is brand new to our franchise, but his story is a little bit more complicated because as we hired an actor called Mike Coulter to play Agent Locke for Nightfall, and then obviously becomes Spartan Locke. And actually, some of our fans have already reacted very positively and strongly to EK stepping into those shoes. How does it feel just stepping into like not only a new character, but like a kind of pre-existing real person face?
It's weird because on the one hand, you know, as a voice actor, it's something I feel like I do every day.
Yeah.
You know, coming in and being somebody that I'm not in real life. On the other hand, it's a real person, you know, somebody that people are familiar with and there's a history there and so on. I think the character of Locke is something that I really gelled with immediately. And so as soon as I got there, it was like it all fell together and came out.
We know that people love your voice, but how do you think you're going to deal with fans who are so protective of Master Chief, thinking that you're coming in to steal the limelight or arrest him, technically?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that is already happening.
Yeah.
People have been, you know, people love the Master Chief. I love the Master Chief. You know, I am a huge Halo fan and I played every game. I know the story in and out. I've even read some of the books, you know, so I definitely sympathize with the fans that have that love for the Master Chief. And I don't want to take away from that. At the same time, you know, I have a job to do. You know? There's something there, you know, and Locke has a very clear directive and things that he has to deal with and understand in the context of not only like his story, but what's going on with Blue Team as well.
Yeah. And I think EK does a fabulous job. It's just unfortunate that it didn't work out for Locke, you know, it just didn't really.
Steve is not spoiling the game. These are lies. And actually, speaking of which, so Laura, you're actually kind of a big gamer yourself. Like, I'm not going to say geek, but kind of.
I'm a geek. You can be
pretty traditionally obsessive, compulsive gamer.
Totally geek.
How was it coming into Halo? Is there any different kinds of pressure versus other jobs? Or?
I'm not gonna lie, I freaked out when
In a good way.
Such a good way. Yeah, I came home after I found out. Yeah, it was a big freak out to know that, you know, I was gonna get to be a Spartan. And growing up on Halo, and you know, my dad is a computer engineer, and that's how I like found my way into gaming, and he's always been a Halo fan. So there's just something about being able to like call home and say, I'm gonna have a face coming out of Spartan here. This is the most epic thing. Yeah. But there's pressure there too, because you definitely want to be able to do a good job.
Right.
I mean, and I put maybe more pressure on myself for this game than I have in previous projects because it's so important to me.
Right. And there's a little bit of extra pressure on your character because you're a linguist in the game.
Yes.
You're an expert in alien languages and phonetics and all that stuff. Does it matter that that's a part of your character when you're doing it in terms of she's the communicator on the team?
Definitely. I mean, it changes the approach of different lines because she doesn't come at a lot of the problems the same way other Spartans do because she might have a different perspective because she knows so much about other cultures. But it was really hard to speak Sangheili because, you know, they have 4 mouths. And I have 2. And so it's like you have to take that and make it, how would a human say these words? It's different.
And of course that's a big part of the story. And we were talking to Brian Reed, the lead writer, earlier today about that. And there's elements of the game where individual characters will have slightly different experiences, and those are relayed to the player obviously through VO in a lot of instances. But just to go back to something you said, you went home and you were able to tell people at home. Well, who else was at home and who? Yeah, so Travis and Laura.
I know, I just kind of referenced you for no, like that.
Yes. Travis and Laura are married. This is not a secret, but did you?
Say what?
Yeah, but did you guys find out at the same time that because you were cast as Fred, presumably a different time than the Olympia decision was made?
Were you second?
No, I was first.
Right. Doesn't even matter.
No, remember? I was first. Because there was like this big long callback process. It was crazy.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, I remember being so excited, and then because you didn't think you were going to get to do this one because you did Spartan Ops before.
Oh, that's right.
And so you were so excited when you got to come in and do this game as well.
I had a vendetta.
Yeah.
Point to prove.
Well, your character Fred is. There's a lot of fans out there who have probably pronounced idea of what Fred sounds like in their head, and you're not going to match that. How is that as an actor when you're coming in to play a part that people are super familiar with, but it's never been expressed in that media before?
I think it's just like you said, you could put that undue pressure on yourself, or you could just go, there's no possible way that you're going to match that. Maybe for a select few, and for them, you're welcome. Like, that's exactly what I was thinking of. But otherwise, you just approach it like you do any other part, do the history, the research on the character, figure out what his relationship is with Chief, and that sort of informs what it's going to sound like, and then it's a collaborative process with everybody.
I haven't seen Chief press himself like this since we were in boot camp.
He's fine, Fred.
This many missions non-stop isn't fun.
And you were acting in real scenes with other actors, whereas Steve, I think you've done way more individual booth stuff.
Yeah,
You've done stuff with Jen Taylor as Cortana.
Right.
And the technology is making it easier to be a regular actor, I think, in some ways, because you get to have your little dots on your face and it captures your whole performance. You guys have been doing this long enough to see the technology adapt with that. How is that as performers, just being able to capture the whole thing rather than the sort of isolated voice? Does that change the way you work, or?
Well, it's certainly different. I mean, going back to Combat Evolved, at the time that I went in for the first session, I didn't even know what he looked like. There was not even a rendering of Master Chief, so there was just really a discussion about who he was and you know, that kind of thing. And so, you know, and now, you know, with the way it is now, it's so evolved, and it does change your performance. I think it makes it more real in a sense.
I mean, I've heard that the biggest single change is just being able to act in scene with the other actors, so that you're not like talking to a script or a.
It's so amazing, and it makes such a difference to actually react off of somebody else.
It makes it really entertaining too, because sometimes there are hollow versions of a character, whether it's, you know, Roland or if it's Lasky and we're communicating, and sometimes Darren will be off in the corner, you know, addressing all of us, but we're having to look somewhere else. So he'll start talking, and you'll see one person inevitably go like, "Nope, he's not there. He's over here." So we're always looking in the wrong place.
There's a few takes blown on the first,
Yeah, there's always the magic of the vocab, because we have to put rifles on our backs, and inevitably there's somebody that's not in a suit that's sitting back there, like a little goblin, just waiting to like grab the rifle as you put it behind your back.
Yeah.
Sierra 117 to infinity. Blue team has located Argent Moon. Signs of hostile activity, but she's still here.
For the sessions for Halo 5 was, you know, the first time I could use a mic so that I could move, you know, so even when you're just doing voiceover, you can still be more physical with it than always having to worry about, you know, being in front of the mic and which makes it easier to you know, be able to capture, you know, a more real performance, I think.
Yeah.
Makes for good B-roll too, because you're in the soundproof booth and you're like pointing things.
Well, I remember when we recorded that piece that aired a few months ago, where it's basically point of view Master Chief and then point of view Agent Locke. And we recorded those separately. I think we recorded them on the same day, but we were separate. And I always remember that, you know, as you're trying to focus on it, as I'm talking to Locke and EK's not there, there was a Fender Stratocaster in the studio, and he became Agent Locke to me. And by the time we were done with that session, that poor guitar, was like, I you know, thought I had to apologize. Really sorry, man. But
People probably think just as a snapshot view that VO acting is somehow easier than stage or screen acting. And I've found over the years it's the exact opposite, because you have to do so much heavy lifting in a performance because you don't have the visual tools to help support it. Do you guys find it easier or harder?
You know, it's a whole different process.
It's so different.
It's
And
so
that goes
crazy.
to like the mocap part of it too. It just shooting is so different.
It's so different. I feel like mocap is this weird mesh between film work, stage work, and VO work, because without one of those elements, the mocap is not going to come together in the right way.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of film actors that come in that have only done film and they haven't done a lot of VO, and they'll get onto the mocap stage or they'll get in a booth, and film is so amazing at capturing thoughts. You know, if you're in a close-up, any change in your eyes, you'll be able to see what's happening, and that isn't there with, you know, VO obviously, but even mocap, it's not that sensitive. You have to just be. It's got to push through in a different way.
Yeah, and
So it's just a
sometimes
different
I'll ask like, you know, where I need to know where my mark is, or where is the camera going to be, and a lot of times it's not entirely set. You know, you have the ability to, much like a stage freedom, to go where you want, and then later they can move those cameras. They can change the way that it way that
And the
it
player
moves.
can too. The
Yeah.
player,
Exactly.
eventually the player is going to be directing the scene that you know, that Brian Goodrich, our actual director, slaved over to get it just perfect, and then the player comes in and it's like just jumping around all over the place, and takes that beautiful moment and just destroys it, meleeing everyone in the scene.
Crouch up.
Obviously, Laura, we mentioned earlier you're a gamer. Are you guys all gamers? Steve, I obviously know your gaming history better than.
yeah, my gaming history is marked. I remember the very first time I ever made an appearance on behalf of Master Chief. when I went there, was at a store opening in Florida, and I said, I have 2 conditions. I do not dress up as the character, and I don't play the game. Fine. Well, we get down there, and of course, unbeknownst to me, they had set up a contest where the winner would play me in Halo.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't play the game. They said, it's all right, we've rigged it. They put it on the, what they call the juggernaut setting, so you can't lose. Just keep your hands on the controls, keep hitting buttons, and you will be fine. Well, an 11-year-old girl won the contest. I lasted 15 seconds. I'm not kidding.
With all your cheats and everything.
with all the cheats in place, I lasted 15 seconds.
Wow.
And you have never been more humiliated than when an 11-year-old girl gives you one of these. Really?
Really? You're just spinning in a circle.
Yeah.
and just-
Ike, you must have been a gamer as a kid, right? Like,
I actually wasn't. My parents, I'm Nigerian, and in our culture, education is everything. And so video games were not part of that plan. So it wasn't until I was probably, I think I was 12 or 13 when my Uncle Austin came to visit, and he bought us our first Super Nintendo, and the world opened up. It was amazing, and I've been hooked ever since. The camaraderie of playing with my siblings, and then on to college with my buddies. I loved it.
this is gonna sound a little bit weird, but Darren, your actual bio sounds more like a game character bio than the game characters. Can you just tell these guys, at least at the table, what you did before all this?
Yeah, I was in the Army doing intel work, and then I got recruited by the Department of Defense to work on a joint task force doing counter intel as an agent. And I started training for undercover work, and I actually started taking an acting class that was told would help with believability in undercover work, and then moved to LA and started acting.
So you say.
2 years ago, you're like, I was in the Army.
Why do I not know this?
Are you a spy now? You're a spy.
He
He
sounds
is Lasky.
Tom, we can stop this.
I'll make arrangements.
These guys have a lot of work under their belt, but you guys, between you, have been in literally every single video game that ever shipped, right? And you've been in, you've been in Halo 3 times alone as 3 separate characters. So list off the games you've been in, because it's a ton.
I started as Blood Rain in Blood Rain. I don't know. You have a list. Let me see. That helps me. BioShock, Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Second.
Street Fighter.
Who were you in Street Fighter?
Chun-Li.
Chun-Li and Guile.
Yes.
I was Guile. But we're both awful at the
Terrible
game.
at the
Really,
game.
we just look like people jumping into each other. That's all it is. And then missing, and then going back.
Do you guys have any favorite VO performers that you think of?
Oh, there's a lot.
So many.
There's so many of them. I think actually, for me, I just finished playing The Last of Us, and Troy Baker in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I was blown away. But I grew up on Mark Hamill. His Joker, I feel like, sets a bar that has still never been.
And we have him in Hunt the Truth. I almost gleeked out on the spot when I found out that he wanted to do it, in fact. So, what about you, Darren? Any?
Tudyk's a great one. I was just talking about him, and I see a lot of cartoons now because I have 3 kids. I had 3 kids between Halo 4 and 5. Which is a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's impressive.
I had one almost during 4, right at the end of 4, I had one, and then just had twins. So we see a lot of cartoons.
Yeah.
A lot of Travis, too. I hear a lot of Travis in cartoons.
That's right. A lot of Sophia at your house. That's right, yeah.
Steve, any vocal performances that you-
with of course everybody at this table.
Well, naturally.
Needless to say.
Except me.
And I will say I'm a big fan. In addition to being a friend, I'm a big fan of Jen Taylor. I think
Yeah.
she does just a fabulous job,
talented.
and it was so much fun to work with her and watch her work. But Keith David, I met Keith for the first time this year, and was a total geek. I was a total, I am not worthy. I just think he's just a giant of a voice talent and a great actor, and it was and as it turns out, a heck of a nice guy. But it was fun to meet him. It was fun to be a fan, in that regard.
The spies announce themselves now, Agent Locke.
I'm a Spartan now, sir.
I know who you are.
To take it back old school for me, Chris Sabat is a fantastic actor in the anime world.
Yes.
And one of my favorite shows in college, when I started to realize that you could even perform voiceover as a career for an actor, was Dragon Ball Z that was playing on Toonami back in the Cartoon Network days. And I was a fan of Dragon Ball Z, and I finally got into Funimation, and I come in and there's this bald dude in there with a little handsome flavor saver, and he's got this crazy deep voice, very EK deep voice, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm Chris Sabat." I was like, "Oh man, you play Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z? That's amazing." He goes, "Well, Vegeta, Piccolo, Mr. Popo," and Yamcha starts listing like 9 to 12 different characters. I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And it was the first time he's like, "Man, you just pretend." I'm like,
And that's that's like the modern version of Mel Blanc. Like when you read the IMDb for Mel, you're just like basically every cartoon I ever liked when I was a child. He was and just doing crazy stuff with his voice, not just performances, but like vocal flexibility. What are your guys' tricks for
Bourbon.
works well.
That's not the first time I've heard you answer that.
today? This very
A
afternoon.
lot of studios don't let us use that trick enough.
It's so weird.
I think I do something that probably drives my wife crazy, which is that I talk to myself near constantly. Like, I'll hear something that catches my ear, and then I'll go around for the next hour trying it in different ways, and trying this and so on, and go, well, what mimicking.
Yeah.
You know, that and the physicality that I imagine as I stomp around my house doing this. And my wife is like,
Okay.
yeah.
Doing it again.
Yeah.
EK's mentally ill.
I married him for a reason. We get
Explains
people
a lot
that
of
ask a lot, like, how do I get into voiceover? And mimicking, like you said, is so huge, and that's pretty much the only way to learn it is either you have a really great ear and you'll pick it up really quick just by listening to it repetitively, or hiring a voice coach and having to really drill it. But that mimicking ability is everything.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Thanks, Kelly. Everyone ready?
Affirmative.
You good?
Blue team, fall out.
What is the weirdest line you've ever had to say and you know what it is? There must be one where
yeah.
you're like,
I have it instantly. Anybody else?
I do.
I don't think it's.
Mine was in a series where I said, "Feel my wind."
Oh yeah, that was.
I literally looked at the driver's like, "This can't be the line. This can't be the line." He's like, "Just say it, man."
I was in that series with him. My response to that was.
is it anime?
Yeah.
Or some kind of
I can feel it.
I can feel your wind.
I can feel your wind. That was one of my lines.
Brilliant. Just
So I got this audition to do Shaq, right? And I can't do Shaq. I can't. My Shaq is terrible. But they were like, do it anyway. And I was like, all right. So my Shaq sounds like this. That's what it sounds like.
I knew it was going to be good.
I like it. I
Sounds
like it.
terrible. And so I got it, and I was like, oh, no. Why did you pick me? Now I have to do it. It was for, do you remember when he was doing Icy Hot?
yes.
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 Still is.
And so, yeah.
I remember Shaq Fu. I go all the way back.
So I spent a lot of time talking about rubbing myself and touching myself and putting it in the right place. It was like half an hour of that before we actually got to the 3 lines. It was terrible.
That's the best thing ever. I don't want you to talk in your normal voice.
That's how you should answer the phone when Comcast.
Exactly. Wait a minute.
I forget the exact line I said, but I remember I was on fire and I was yelling at somebody who lit me on fire in a game.
On fire is always good.
Yeah.
It's the most panic thing you could do.
Yeah.
You're on fire while being stabbed in the back and your leg's broken. Right. You know. Okay, that was good. Now, give me.
You were being electrocuted, and then somebody throws a hatchet and takes your head off.
The actual game was you are set on fire, and then the alien mandibles grab you, pick you up, shake you, and then snap you in half.
Yeah.
I was like, can I take a picture of that? Snapped it. Like, wait till the game comes out. Okay.
So I know you guys, obviously the most important thing in your whole career is Halo 5. Steve, your situation's interesting because you just retired. Congratulations.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
But what is your experience playing the Master Chief been like, and what has it meant to you?
It's been an incredible journey, one that I could not have possibly imagined the day that I walked into the studio in 2000 to record Halo Combat Evolved. To say it's been a life-changing experience would be a understatement. And to grow with this character and become a part of him in a way. And quite frankly, it's been an honor that as he's evolved and as the game has evolved and Master Chief has evolved, to be able to grow with this character. And you know, you'd like to think that there's a little bit of yourself in these characters, especially when you get to play a recurring role. And that I've often said it's the fulfillment of a childhood fantasy. I mean, who among us didn't sort of fantasize, you know, that you were Superman or you were Batman or you were Spider-Man when you were a kid, and then you know, yay, these many years later, that you actually get to have a part in a role of an iconic character. It's been life-changing, and as I said, an honor to be a part of it.
You guys have 14 years to catch up.
I know, right?
It goes by like that.
So I've had a fantastic time today. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have. And I just wanted to say thank you again to our amazing special guests who've made our game more special with their involvement. Ike Amadi, new to the series, but already an old friend and someone you guys are going to get to know and love. We have Darren O'Hare, always a joy, the best captain this side of Kirk, I think. The incomparable Steve Dans, the Master Chief, and the voice of our game. And the voice of our universe, to Laura Bailey, who is one of the most talented voice actresses in the business and absolutely an integral part of our universe going forward, and to Travis, who is the tallest person at the table, but not necessarily with the deepest voice. So I think there's going to have to be a voice off. I just want to say thanks to you guys again for your passion, your energy, and everything that you've committed to this game and made it what we think is the best Halo ever, and we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you.
Can't wait. Yeah.
Can't wait to play.
Play the greatest games lineup in Xbox history.